Sup everyone, I'm your female otaku and I'm here to review episode 4 of Bungo Stray Dogs. And we had another pretty jarring tone shift. This one was the opposite though, because you know how last week it was, really comedy based, and then we went into the whoa stuff. Well, this time we went into the whoa stuff, and then we ended off with comedy. I know how some people would be upset with the jarring tone shifts, but to me, I was already expecting, because this is just how Bones does things, but having two jarring tone shifts in a row, I can see if people are a little upset with that. But to me, I thought it was fine because how they end the episode with a comedic moment instead of an oh my gosh moment, I was all like, you know what? This feels good. I feel good. I enjoyed it. Very satisfying. Anyway, so with the beginning of the episode, that little comedy thing that we had there with Kunikida, he's a lot more disorganized than I thought, okay? He's just, or at least he gets very disorganized when he's stressed. That was just too funny. When it turns out that he was reading his book upside down, after she points it out, and then how he acts, he moves, then he pauses. He moves, pauses again. Does it a few more times until he finally makes his way over to Atsushi, and he's just all like, I have not lost control! I'm like, Kunikida, you're hilarious. And then this was a tipping point. When Kunikida, she was about to leave, and he's just all like, oh, by the way, have you seen my glasses? They're on your head, man. That's the oldest joke, man, in the book. Oh my gosh, Kunikida, man. Wow, just wow. So, Atsushi, he was feeling really bad about himself throughout the entire episode, the majority of the episode, because constantly he's seeing that everyone's being hurt, or everyone at least is going to get hurt because of him. He's going to cause even worse problems in the future. And I was actually a little upset with Kunikida because Kunikida even admits that this is all because of you. He said it about twice this episode. So I'm just all like, Kunikida, you're not really helping Atsushi's situation, man, okay? And then Atsushi, he was gonna leave, and then the worst case scenario was gonna happen, which I'm gonna get to that a little later. But first, Tanizaki, you poor boy, Tanizaki. I would say that I would like to give you a hug, but I feel like you're too traumatized by women at this point that you would just back away. So I'm just like, Tanizaki. So, Tanizaki was with the girl, I forgot her name, Akiko, I think her name is, or I'm not too positive what her name is, but if someone can tell me down below, that'd be great. But when Tanizaki was getting treated by her, oh, that was great. I did not expect her to be like this. Of course, we didn't really know too much about the woman in the first place, but that was something, man. She was treating Tanizaki, and she was just like, oh, you really like my treatments, don't you? And then Tanizaki, he was trembling, man. He was all tied up and strapped to the bed, and it's just like, oh, Tanizaki always getting violated left and right, this poor boy. Oh my gosh, Tanizaki. Oh, I love this guy, I really do. We don't really know how Naomi is at the moment, because Kunikida said that they're both fine, but we still don't know how Naomi is. We didn't even see her in the episode, so it's just but I don't know, maybe we'll see her next week and everything will be all good. But I'm glad to see that she's okay, and same with Tanizaki. Of course, after the treatment, then he was fine. What we can guess is that the woman of the agency is a healer, which a lot of you guys predicted because you said that her ability is called Thou Shall Not Die, so it's like, oh, okay, well then it's pretty obvious that she's a healer. Now, let's talk about Black Lizard. Okay, so Black Lizard, you see, we meet this guy. I don't think we got his name, but he was the leader of Black Lizard, and when we got his focus, I was like, yo, this is some Black Lagoon I'm witnessing right here. Oh my gosh, that was so cool, man. So cool, him with the cigarette and everything, how he's about to light it before a job, but then it's like, no. You gotta wait. And then the job is done, and then you light it, and then it was like, yo, Yo! It's like, don't smoke, kids, but that still looked pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. Like, dude was an absolute boss until the end of the episode, which like I said in the beginning, I could see why some people were disappointed because they built up this guy in like 5 minutes, the leader of Black Lizard. And him and his crew were just defeated like that. So I'm just like, what? Like, you see, at first, I thought the leader of Black Lizard was the leader of Port Mafia. But what I'm starting to get at is Port Mafia, we haven't met their main boss yet. I'm assuming we have not met Port Mafia's main boss. But within Port Mafia, they have a team called Black Lizard, like these henchmen guys, you could say. And they also have Akutagawa and his whole little crew thing that he has going on there, who, they said that they're like the guard dogs or like the hunting dogs for Port Mafia. So, we still have yet to see more of what Port Mafia has to offer. So I'm just like, yo, let's go, man, let's go, give it to me, all right? Like, I'm ready. Port Mafia is really building up a reputation. Okay, now sure, I was a little disappointed with Black Lizard at the end there, but it was still funny how they ended it, so I was fine with it. But with, you know, we still have Akutagawa there, and he was talking to a girl who was behind bars, so just like, okay, and constantly we're seeing Akutagawa coughing. I presume that he has some sort of health issues. Now, I am familiar with the author that he's based off of, because, like I told you guys a couple weeks back, you gotta watch Aoi Bungaku to understand these authors, but Akutagawa, the author that he was based off of, he made a lot of really dark stories, but they also taught a pretty good lesson. One of them, which a lot of you guys are probably familiar with if you saw Bokudake ga Inamachi, which is The Spider's Thread, and he also wrote Hellscream, but, you know, his ability is named after his most popular work, which is Rashomon, which I have not heard of Rashomon, but yeah. So what I know about the author himself is that he had, like, I believe he had, like, mental issues, and then he ended up having, like, real health, like, problems, like, physical health problems. And then he just decided to end it by, like, overdosing on drugs, I believe it was. It seems like next week we're gonna get into more of the characters, mostly Edagara Rampo, which I'm so excited. Hiroshi Kamiya, give me more of your greatness, man. I am ready. I am ready for the greatness. Hiroshi Kamiya. Let's do this. Oh, and yes, this is a Bungo Stray Dogs poster. A lot of people have been commenting on this. If you haven't seen my Castle Point Hall video, then a lot of you people have been talking about this. But yeah, is Dazai. We didn't get too much of Dazai this episode, but hey, every scene with Dazai is a great scene. Alright, as I continue to hold back myself from reading the manga, remember to catch you tomorrow as I review Kabaneri of the Iron Fortress, Netoge, and Assassination Classroom Season 2. I'm your female otaku, sayonara.